What is going on? What's going on, everyone? Uh, Hope everything is coming through loud and clear for y'all on your end. Um, Anybody in here in the chat, let me know uh, that y'all can hear me loud and clear. Just like to do a little comms, little mic check, make sure everything is all good. Um, yeah, man, it's that time of year, man. This it seems like this season has flown by, like pew gone. I know it's been like real busy for me. First season as a new dad, so it's kind of balancing learning that new dynamic. It's been a little different for me this year, but it's been a good year. Been a good year. Loud and clear. All right, cool. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Jonelle. Um, let's go no overtime this year. Yeah, man, I don't want no overtime this year. It seems that the weather is trending in that cooler direction right now. I've seen some people out there, even down in Virginia, that's already doing their overseeds and stuff. I know a landscaper up here in the DMV area. He's already doing some of his aerations and seedings. A little too early for me personally. I know the weather trend for the next couple of weeks looks pretty good, or at least for the next 10 days out, looks pretty good. But typically, we get another hot streak like this. I feel like this is that fake we're going in the fall right now, because I feel like we're going to get back into the 90s again for another week or so. And then I think we're going to head into the fall after that. So, me personally, and everybody, it varies. I mean, I'm rolling the dice. I mean, typically just kind of going off of some data of what history has shown. I like to use Greencast. Greencast is one of those apps that kind of it tells you your current soil temperature of your area, your 5 day, 5 or 7 day temperature, and then it also overlays the 5 year and 10 year historical data. So right now, soil temps are still like 79, 78 degrees, which means you could get some pretty quick germination. But I just think we're going to get back hot one more time before it's over. And I'd hate to have those little baby seedlings and stuff out there. And then we jump back into those mid 90s for a couple of days on end. And yeah, it just makes it a little tough. So I typically wait till uh, September. You know, normally like Labor Day weekends are good. Kind of go time. You get a couple of extra days off of work or an extra day. Maybe you take some vacation around that period of time. But that's typically kind of like my go time for. I normally try to knock my lawn out first, get me finished and get all of mine taken care of. And then I move on to my clients normally the week after that. So I start my aeration and seeding on my clients normally that second week of September. I've waited till later. I seeded a lot later last year. It was towards the end of September last year. I don't think I'm gonna wait that late again this year. It was hot and dry last year, so most of my clients are non-irrigated. So I was kind of waiting till temperatures cool down and hoping to get some rain to kind of help that seed out because I mean putting seed down on yards that are non-irrigated and we don't have any rain coming, it's not really going to help or do anything. And I was hoping it was we were going to get some rain, and I was kind of waiting on that and timing it around that. So, uh, yeah, that's kind of one of those things that it's not as scientific as we would like it. Good thing about seeding, if you're doing some seeding and stuff right now, here in the Maryland area, we this weekend we've got chances of rain. I think starting tomorrow. I think tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday, we're supposed to get some fairly decent rain, probably up to about an inch of rain over the course of those days. It's in the form of thunderstorms, so hopefully it doesn't come down too heavy. But yeah, not a terrible time to do it. Just a little early for me. I would typically, or I am going to hold off just a little while longer, because usually we get back hot again, at least for another week or two. So, how's everybody doing? Drop any questions or anything that y'all have got into the chat. Transition zone guy, what's going on? What's happening? Mr. Rover Kane, what's up there? I know I already hollered at Janelle. Um, yeah, I hope everybody's having a good one. I just got a little free time on my hands, so uh, which is kind of rare. So I was like, I'm gonna just jump on here and go live real quick and see what the people have got going on. See if they've got any questions, got anything happening as they get prepared for the fall. I will be getting ready. So I've already started one of my renovations that I'm actually going to be doing here at the house. Um, and Yeah, that's right. We working, man. We working. Always at it. So I have sprayed. I've actually made two applications on my full renovation that I'm going to be doing. So I call it my OG test plot, because it was the very first Mountain View seed that I ever planted. That's what my test plot is. That is the first area that turned me on to Mountain View seed. I happen to be out at Newsom Seed, where I buy all of my seed and stuff from now. And I've been doing that since I went out there to buy some of the Mountain View seed. So that's typically where I go buy my seed and everything from. So I was out there. I saw the top choice. I got it. It was all Mountain View seed cultivars, and I killed off that area, and that was the first pure blend of Mountain View seed that I planted. And that is probably one of the areas that's like the foundation of this channel, which is like the foundation of like what I've been doing, and the foundation of me being 100% believer in the Mountain View seed. So that little 500 square foot has turned into, and I posted about it on Instagram. I don't know if I posted that on YouTube or not, but that little 500 square feet has opened a lot of doors, has been the reason why I've been telling y'all so much about Mountain View seed, which is the reason why a lot of y'all are using Mountain View seed that I recommended, just off of that same little 500 square foot. So I'm gonna be honest, it was a little bit of a sad day when I sprayed it out the first time. Even though I know I was spraying it, it still stayed a little bit green for a little while. And when it finally started going brown, and it finally started turning brown and was going crispy, I was like, mm. That's when it hit, and it hit a little bit. And just the fact that it's gone, like it it is gone. It is crispy right now. I think I've actually got a I think I've actually got a picture here that I'll show y'all. And this isn't even it's even more crispy than what it is right now, than what this picture is going to show. I'll pull this up real quick and show y'all what it's looking like. So yeah, right here. Yeah. So this is what it's looking like right now. Um, no, it's actually a little more crispy than what it's showing right now. So yeah, she's done. All this green and stuff that's in there right now is all gone. Like this was right after I made my first spray and I cut it down. So I cut it in this direction first, and then came back and cut it perpendicular to that. And then I made my second spray application on it. So that was probably earlier this week. Yeah, that was earlier this week. So right now it's crispy. It is good and crispy. And I actually watered it this morning along with the rest of the yard. I made a spray application, so I needed to get it watered in yesterday evening. So I watered that in this morning, and I actually watered this area here also. So just like in some of my previous videos, where I've told y'all about once you're doing a full renovation, to make sure that you're watering it even after everything has turned crispy. Even after everything turns crispy, make sure you're still watering it. That way, any weed seeds or anything that's in there, you go ahead and you get that to germinate before you actually put down your new seed. That'll help you eliminate some of that weed pressure that you may experience or may start to germinate once you start pumping that water to it to get your new seed to come up and grow. Same thing, any other weed seeds are going to want to come up during that same period of time. So uh, that's one of those things where I try to make sure uh, I have a good period of where I'm making sure that I've got a little bit of time because this was 2 weeks. I sprayed it one time and then waited 2 weeks and then I sprayed again. That was my second spray, and that'll carry me somewhere close to that Labor Day time period, and I'll probably be doing some leveling and getting everything ready and prepped in this area coming coming that weekend. So I got to get some leveling, waiting on my seed to get here. So I kind of been teasing y'all about what's coming. But yeah, I do have some new seed that's coming. I haven't grown it before. I haven't used it before at all. So I'll be trying that out in that area. And then there may be some new stuff coming in for my backyard, and also coming next spring and summer, I may be doing some new stuff also. So I'm excited. Got a lot of stuff that's coming that I'm trying to juggle, trying to work some things out. Um, I will go ahead and put this comment up right here. Um, any new info on the best seed at Newsome Seed? There is some new info, and there's some new info that's coming. I am working out some details. Y'all give me another week or so. Hopefully, I will have all of these details worked out. If you're planning to buy seed from Newsome Seed, give me 2 weeks. I ask you, just give me 2 weeks. I will have some info for you that I'm sure you will like what is coming. Like I give me 2 weeks. I'm trying to work some details out, and it is something new that will be offered at Newsome Seed. So um, I think y'all can kind of figure out what's coming, but at that point, just work with me. I'm trying to get some details and things worked out. Hopefully everything goes through. I probably shouldn't have said that, but just give me some time. And I see that comment, and a lot of people have been asking me about seed, so I do want to kind of let y'all know a little bit. Just kind of work with me. Give me 2 weeks, and hopefully I'll have all the details and everything worked out. And there will be something new offered at Newsome Seed. So you'll have plenty of time to get it before seeding time, and everything should be good to go for you. So yeah, there's the new info there, and I wanted to go ahead and address that. I knew somebody was going to ask me about it, so I knew somebody was going to ask about it. So I'm trying to work some things out, and hopefully everything goes through, and we'll we'll all be happy. We'll all be happy. So what's going on, Louis Z? Currently, I'm gonna get to some of these comments. See what everyone's talking about. Currently starting the lawn, staring at the lawn. 96 degrees outside right now. Yeah, it's 96 degrees. That's hot. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing anything on the lawn right now besides giving them some water, especially if you're dealing with a cool season. If you're dealing with a cool season lawn, yeah, it's not happy in 96 degrees at all. I'm in Southern VA, so I was gonna wait till late September to see what you think. Um, Southern VA, you could wait that late because it stays warmer longer down in that area. You could wait till that late and seed. Um, if you're doing Kentucky bluegrass, you may want to give it an extra 2, like kind of push it towards maybe that mid September. But you would be fine if you seed it late September. It's also just weather dependent. If you look at the forecast and you see a trend of out, if it comes to mid September, and you see like the next 2 weeks, got like some good chances of like good rain coming, you might want to go ahead and do it, because it's nothing like the rain that the good Lord sends down when it's time for things to germinate and grow and everything. It's nothing like it. I don't care how much irrigation you put on it. What falls from the sky is better than any irrigation that's out there. So I always try to time my seeding around some solid rain chances coming up. And a lot of people will say, well, what if it comes down heavy? What if you have a washout? Well, what if it doesn't? And I get some nice, good, steady rain that comes in, and we with the we working team, we like to call it that seed watering rain, where it's just moist and damp and just rainy for a good solid 2, 3, 4 days. Your seed's ready to germinate already. It's germinating by then. Most of the Mountain View seed, once it gets wet and it stays moist for you give it 4, 5 days, it's already germinated. Like you're in your germination period at that point. So if you can time that around some good rain, it's risky, especially if you're doing bare ground. But if you're doing like a overseed or something like that, you'll be fine. Like unless you have water puddling up in your lawn, even if you get some heavy rain, it's not gonna move around that much if you're doing an overseed. Bare ground seeding, that's a little bit of a different story. But yeah, I think if you wanted to wait till late September, you'd be fine to do that down in that southern VA area. It stays pretty warm down there anyway, just almost like North Carolina weather down there. I mean, I've known people in North Carolina that's just seeding in mid October, late October, and they're just putting their seed down, and it germinates and grows fine because a lot of times in December you can still be warm down in December, warm enough for cool season grasses to grow through late December. Like it's still cooking and growing well in late December into January. So just a difference in location. So also, if you're following along with me and you're looking at what I'm doing, sometimes I am ahead of you all. Like I started spraying my stuff out. I think I'm on week 3 of my renovation in on the test plot already. Um, Typically I got to be ahead of y'all to provide the content, to be able to show you to be able to show you all by the time it's about ready for you all to get started. Typically, if you're doing a renovation, you can get started around this time. That'll get you ready to seed by like that mid-September time frame. If you wanted to seed in like that Labor Day weekend, you probably should have started. Normally you need about a month. You spray it once, give it 2 weeks, 10 days, spray it again, give it another 2 weeks, 10 days, and then you can get your 2 spray applications in, and then once that you get to about that 4th week, you can get ready to throw seed down. And even if if you've got some stuff that you need to spot treat at that point, if you still got some weeds that have came up on seeding day, or if you've got some things that you need to clean up, you can actually still hit those day of with some holy water, aka glyphosate. So you can actually spray that on seeding day. So It has zero effect on the seed coming up. Um, I've done it many a times. You can spray on a day of seeding. I've done renovations where I did everything in like 2, 3 hours. I did like a 3,000 square foot renovation for one of my friends. Came in, power raked it, aerated it, uh, seeded it, fertilized, and sprayed holy water and rolled out and set the irrigation up and rolled out, and gave it a couple of days for that holy water to set in, and then we turned the water on, and as everything was dying off, the new grass was germinating. So it was actually pretty cool. I'm gonna probably make a video on that because I got all of that recorded and I got all the content for that. So that'll probably be a video I'll put out. Um, what's going on, Sprightly? Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Um, no turning back after that holy water. Yeah, you right, John Dale, man. You after that holy one, man. When you see it turn crispy, once you spray it, you know what you. I mean, I know what I'm doing at the time that I'm doing it, but it's just one thing to do it, but then it still stays green for a couple of days. But when it starts turning crispy, you just like, oh, ain't no turning back at this point. Like I'm I'm all the way in. I'm all the way in. Like I gotta go through it. I gotta go through with it right now. Um, yep, Lewis. And I think that's what I was talking about. And as you answered, as I was answering your previous question, yep, I completely agree with that. That's typically why I like to wait till a little later. But I think up here in Maryland, where I'm at, you can get one of them early falls, early winters where it just kind of falls off a cliff, and your seed really doesn't have a good enough chance to establish. So it's always risky. The later that you wait, but I think you'll be fine in that area. I think wait until late September up in my area starts to push it just a little. I don't think it's pushing. It all depends on how the weather goes. I mean, if the weather stays warm and it stays fairly like fall like and consistent for a number of weeks after that, you'll be fine. But sometimes the weather just falls off a cliff, and it just is what it is at that point. You just gotta roll with it. Take what you got. It's Mother Nature. Like, we have zero control over it, and we can only forecast out so far. Like that's about it. Let's see what we got here. I think September 9th is a decent time for the pre-germinating KBG. Uh, KBG pre-germ September 9th. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Get it down because KBG, you need all the time that you can get, and you're in Ohio, so you're a little further north probably than I am. So you're gonna need all the time you can get because KBG hits what we call that sprout and pout phase, where it'll germinate, come up, kind of get a little green, start growing a little bit, and then it just kind of stalls out for a while, and you don't get a lot of growth. You're getting root development and establishment is what's happening, but you don't get a lot of top growth and a lot of filling in and all of that. A lot of that's not visible and not happening. So you need some time for KBG. Even though a lot of the newer cultivars will come up and germinate quick, like the 365 SS, give it 5 6 days, it's germinated, and then it'll start growing. But then it also hits that stall phase after that, and it just kind of sits there for a while, and then all of a sudden it'll just shoot back up like that 30-day mark. You get to like that 30-day mark, 35, 40 days, it'll turn on, and then you get a cut on it and feed it. Like you could have cut on it and feed it, cut it and feed it, cut it and feed it. Um, smaller frequent doses on KBG is probably one of my recommendations to get it going rather than trying to pound it all at one time. But KBG needs to be fed, especially during its establishment and especially in the spring of the following year. It's going to be slow to wake up. What I've seen is KBG is slow to wake up, it's slow to get going, and it's hungry, especially when it is coming out of its first year of or it's in its first year of establishment. It is hungry. Like it needs to be fed, and it needs to be fed early. Like so, coming out of the gate on typically I say cool season lawns don't push it a lot in the spring, but with KBG it needs to be fed decently. I'm not gonna say go crazy with it, but it needs to be fed coming out of the winter, especially that first year of establishment. So you can you can kind of count on that. I've seen it. I was talking to Turf, and Turf when he his first year after establishing his lawn in Germany, he was going through the same thing, and I was going through it like the year before that. I had like a little small 100% KBG little plot out by the edge of the road, and that next spring, like it would not grow. It just I was just kind of like trying to baby it along and just kind of like ease it in and get it going, and it just was not growing. It wasn't waking up. It was just sitting there, and I just said forget it, and I gave it a good shot. It gave it a good shot of nitrogen, and it it kicked in and got growing, filled in, growing well, and it took off after that. And Turf experienced the same thing over in Germany with his KBG. So he was doing the same thing, and I told him about it. And he went on and gave it a good dose, like a little like a 3/4 pound dose of N. And he was like, "Yeah, Cam." He was like, "That was it." He was like, "That was it. That's what it needed." Um, it needed that, and then it didn't grow like crazy, but it started growing like it should, like you would expect, like a fescue or a cool season grass type to grow during that spring time of year. So yeah, I've also got to try pre-germinating seed. I haven't done that process yet. I haven't pre-germed any seed before, and kind of did the comparison on that establishment. But I'm interested in doing it. I need some bigger. I need a bigger plot of land. That's what I need. I need a bigger plot of land so I can do all this stuff that I want. Right now I'm running out of space. That's why I had to get rid of the OG test plot, because I need space to be able to do something new, and I want to be able to see it 100% that. So yeah, I need me a bigger plot. Y'all know I want a bigger plot of land, but y'all pray for me. That's what I want. Pray for me. Keep watching the videos. Send some super chats and all of that if you want. Uh, so we can work on the elevated turf farm. That's what we need to work on. The elevated turf farm. Uh, let's see what we got. We'll be seeing a full KBG test plot. It won't be a full KBG test plot. Um, it will not be. That won't be it. What up, Henry D? Um, yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I appreciate I appreciate that. All right, y'all. Y'all gonna hold me to that 2 weeks. Y'all gonna hold me to that 2 weeks. I'm gonna do my best to get y'all the whole the come through with that. Come through with that. So um KBG 2 weeks or 2 weeks. Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I know y'all joking. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna make sure that we try to get everything locked in and get things taken care of. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I really hope everything works out. So, uh, what up, broke? What's happening? What's happening, broke? Good to see you in here. Hey man, I've been watching. I've been in some of your lives, checking you out, seeing what you got going on. Um, See your channel is growing over there. Hey, your live streams, boy. Your live streams be like the club. Everybody be in your live streams, boy. Broke be over there with like 200 and some people in his live anytime he go live. That's what I need to go live. I need to go live with you, broke. Be having like 200 people. They have like 200 people in his live stream. Well, that's what's up, man. Yeah, your live streams are lit though. They be like your live streams be like the club. um, good question. Does triple threat and Mountain View color mix well? Uh, I've never seen the triple threat in person. I haven't seen that seed in person. I've seen it in pictures and I've seen it in videos. I've talked to some people that have planted it and what it looks like. I think it will mix fine together. Just from what I've seen visually, like I said, I haven't seen it in person, but I think it'll mix fine. I think you'll be okay with it. How many weeks in advance to spray the curdle weeds before seeding in VA? Lewis, it depends on what you're spraying. It depends on what you're spraying. So, uh, if you are going with like some holy water or non-selective glyphosate, um, there's no wait time for that. If you're doing like a full renovation or you're spot spraying, getting rid of some stuff. But if you are going with 2,4-D type product, 2,4-D, triclopyr, uh, like speed zone, any of those, most of those herbicides have a wait period. So they all vary what that wait period is. So make sure you are looking at the label depending on what herbicide you are spraying to clean up weeds. So like right now, if I've got any weeds or anything in my lawn, and I want to spray them and I'm not going to hand pull them, which I don't really have any weeds, but if I were, I would, about now would be the time, about 2 weeks ahead, well, like I said, it depends on what you're spraying. Anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks ahead of that is when the ahead of your seeding is when you want to be able to spray. So if you're planning to spray to clean up weeds, you should probably get going right about now. We've got a little cooler temperatures right now. So now would be a good time for you to get out there, start making your spray applications to clean up weeds. That way you can be ready to seed in that like September time frame. So uh, make sure you check the labels because all of them it varies on depending on what you're spraying. I'm not sure what product you're planning on spraying. Um, John, with perfect results, and you're in Newport News. Bad news, VA. Bad. Oh no, John. I don't know why I thought you were up in Maryland. I thought you were up in Maryland. Um, but yeah, first week of October. Like I said, down in Southern VA, uh, I would think that late September, early October time period would be just fine for getting your seeding and stuff done. Yeah, you should be fine. Y'all say warmer longer down there, and then in bad news, y'all are closer to the water also, so y'all stay a little bit warmer for a longer period of time. Um, what's going on, David? In Nashville, ready for overseeding? Yeah, it's time to start getting ready. It is time to get ready. Um, yeah, once the PPE is on, and I hit it hard too. Like I hit it with holy water, the Father, the Son, and everything. I think I was joking with somebody about that, um, because I actually went down with um, glyphosate, triclopyr, and Fusillade. That was my combo with some MSO in there. That was my spray application, which was the same application that I did on my pop's lawn to get rid of his. The reason that I hit it so hard is because I've got some common Bermuda that has crept back in there from my neighbors. So my neighbor has some common that's running rampant over in their lawn, and it's started creeping back into mine. Like I said, man, I say it all the time. I did a full renovation on that area 4 years ago and eliminated the common Bermuda that was in it. And here we are 4 years later, and the Bermuda's really been there for like the past 2 years. But as I've started to cut that area lower, it's been more advantageous for the Bermuda at that lower height of cut. So that Bermuda is starting to is it was running rampant is non-existent right now, but getting rid of Bermuda, man. Bermuda, like I used to be like 100% cool season guy. I hated Bermuda. I said it was ugly. I didn't like it until I started seeing some good looking Bermuda. Um, Bermuda is the alpha grass. Like it, I like my cool season grass. Nothing against my cool season grass at all, but Bermuda is the alpha grass. Bermuda is the grass that I think a lot of people should really be growing with the amount of effort and financing that people really want to put in their lawn. I think a lot of people should really be growing Bermuda. Like I think you should. Like case in point. Case in point. Let's go. See, I did have a couple things prepared slightly, but this was a good segue for us to actually kind of get into this and talk about it just a little bit. Um, so I'm gonna do this, and then let's look at this. So as I was saying, this is Iron Cutter Bermuda. So a lot of people will talk about Bermuda, the color, and this and that about Bermuda and Iron Cutter Bermuda. When this is my pop's lawn that we did the renovation on last year, last spring, summer is when we did it. Started killing it off in the spring, sprigged it in the summer around mid June, and this is now a little over a year old. And this is what it's looking like. This lawn has had two applications of fertilizer. It is right at 2 pounds of N for the entire season. Two fertilization applications. It has been watered only when they were going through the extreme drought that everybody was going through. He watered it 5 times then over the course of those couple of weeks, which was like he basically watered it once a week, kind of to keep it going, to keep it from like getting brown and too crispy during that long drought. He watered it like once a week. And only thing outside of that has been pre-emergent, of course, in the spring. We put down pre-emergent for the weeds, and he's been cutting it. That's it. Like that is it. That is all he has done to this lawn. And North Carolina is hotter than we are in Maryland. It has been drier there than we have in Maryland. They did start getting some rain about 2 weeks ago. And when they did, the lawn, it bounced back about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then of course, they had the hurricane that just came through last weekend when I was actually down. So these pictures are actually from last weekend. I actually went and put a cut on it. My dad was at church, and I was like, I'm about to cut the grass for him. And he pulled up from church, and I was out there cutting the grass. But I cannot complain with this at all. I mean, density, what weeds are non-existent. He's got a little bit of nut sedge that's like here and there, kind of sporadic throughout the lawn. But other than that, density, I A lot of people really should be growing these newer cultivars of Bermuda. And with the way that the climate has been going the past 2 or 3 years, it's just hot and it's dry during the summers. And you're going to continue to battle. If you don't want to put the water to it, your lawns are going to get crispy. Your cool season lawns are just going to get crispy. And if you're not pumping the water to it, it's just is what it is. Like that's what it is. But dealing with a warm season grass, it can survive a lot of those hotter temperatures, dry temperatures, full sun. This is my dad's lawn right here is full sun. The only shade that's there is from these little birches, these little river birches right here. But majority of this is full sun all day long, beaming hot North Carolina weather. Like, and very little irrigation has been put. I guarantee you, I've watered my yard, my little 7,000 square feet that I've got here, more than he's watered this whole 20,000 square feet this year. Guaranteed. No doubt that I put down more water to keep my lawn going than my dad has on this whole 20,000 square feet. So, yeah, that's me on the soapbox with that one. I really think people should reconsider. And they say, well, I don't want my lawn to be brown during the winter. Ain't nobody looking at your yards in the winter anyway. Like most of us aren't using our yards in the winter. We're not really paying attention to them because it's cold outside and we in the house. We go from the car to the house, and it just kind of is what it is. Like I really think that, and then a lot of these are more cold tolerant than the other cultivars of Bermuda grasses. So depending on where your location is, I'm assuming my dad's lawn is probably gonna stay green until about November. I think about November is probably when it's gonna probably start going dormant around then sometime in November. I'm assuming because it's well established now, and I think that's probably when it's gonna start going dormant. And at that point, shoot, even my cool season lawn here in Maryland, when it gets cold enough, normally by January, my lawn is probably dormant and brown and yellow looking anyway. Like, I mean, most of our yards are that are here in these northern climates by you're either covered in snow or you're yellow and brown and dormant already anyway. So yeah, just a little thing for us to reconsider and making sure we're putting down like we're deciding to put the right grass types where they should go. And if we're not really trying to put a lot of the inputs into our lawns and having to water it and having to put down the fungicides and being on top of things during the summer, I think the warm season grass types gives a lot of relief. And it makes things a lot easier and makes lawn care more enjoyable because you really don't have to be on top of it like that all the time. So Bermuda grass, you can't hardly kill it when you want to. So if you ever switch from a cool season to a warm season like Bermuda, just know that more than likely you're not going to be able to fully get rid of it ever again to where it's never going to come back again. So, uh, yeah, that's why I went with as hard of an application as what I did, trying to clean up that common Bermuda that was in there. So I have no doubt that it's going to come back. I have no doubt in my mind that it will be back again in a couple of, in a couple of years, just like I did right now. It just is what it is. I know I got behind on a whole bunch of these comments, but I'm coming down. I'm working my way down. Uh, can you use a starter fertilizer when I overseed? So starter fertilizer is a marketing term. It is a marketing term. Um, and it's basically because it's got phosphorus in it. But you can find all these other fertilizers that's got phosphorus in it too. My recommendation is put down the fertilizer that you need for your lawn based on your soil test. So if you've already got sufficient phosphorus, as I do in parts of my lawn, I don't use your standard starter fertilizer. So meaning I don't put down phosphorus with my seeding. Normally mine is just N and K, and it's like a little bit of K, um, being potassium. So most of the time, I don't use phosphorus, especially if the soil test shows that there's sufficient amount already in the soil. You don't need to go put down more if you already have enough in your soil. So apply the fertilizer that is needed for your lawn, not necessarily put down your standard starter fertilizer just because you're putting seed down. That's not necessary. So, hope that answers your question. Tried to be as crisp and direct with that one as I could. So, uh, because I think a lot of people do that, right? They say just because I'm seeding, I'm putting down seed, so I need to start a fertilizer, but they already have enough phosphorus in your soil. So putting down more is not really going to help, like, because it's already phosphorus there. Your the new grass that you're planting doesn't need additional. It's going to get what it needs because it's already there in the soil. So applying more just because you're putting down seed is not necessary. So I might have just answered that. I might have just answered your question right there. I didn't. I really didn't see that. I was just answering the other question. Is it necessary to use a certain fertilizer if you've been fertilizing throughout the summer? If so, when? Nope, nope, not necessary at all. I like I just explained, not necessarily. You don't need a starter fertilizer if you've already got sufficient amounts in your soil. So put down whatever fertilization. I do fertilize when I seed, but I fertilize based on typically how I've been fertilizing all year. I don't go get a special fertilizer just because I'm putting down grass seed. I just continue fertilizing as I normally do. When we get into the fall, after I've already seeded and the seed is up and growing and all of that, I do increase my nitrogen applications, which is what you should do for a cool season lawn anyway. So it's not necessarily that I'm doing anything special or I'm using a special fertilizer. Typically, I go with just a higher amount of nitrogen in the fall, which is how you should feed a cool season lawn. Heavier feedings in the fall, lighter feedings in the spring and summer. So, hope that addresses that one. Henry D. Yep, seems like you got your question answered on that one there. Doom doom doom. Okay, I appreciate that, John. Now, yep. Hold off on ordering that seed. You'll be all right. You got plenty of time. You got plenty of time. I mean, you just said you seeded in October, so yeah, you'll be all right. Seems like this is a good question. Let me see what this one is. Lewis, how much feeding on, I'm guessing, the end of spring in Southern VA? How much feeding? I've got, I've got titanium, I've got firecracker, I've got some raptor. So I've got those cultivars in my backyard also right now. I've got a blend of just about all the Mountain View seed cultivars, honestly. And you can feed them all about the same. They really, especially the fescues, they really don't need anything different. So I've only applied this entire season about a pound and a half of nitrogen all season. Um, that's all I've applied to my lawn this entire season. So during the spring, I probably I probably went with, and I've been doing smaller feedings. So I've kind of been doing every 2 weeks. I've been doing like a tenth of a pound of N like every 2 weeks. I think when it finally started growing and started to green up, I think I hit it with a tenth of a pound, and then once I got a couple cuts on it, I think I maybe gave it a quarter pound in like April time frame when it was really starting to wake up, and then I think I might have gave it, and I think from there on, I was about every 2 weeks going down with about a tenth of a pound, and that's kind of the program that I've stayed on. So throughout this season, I think I'm at like a pound and a half right now, and we're about to go into the fall where I'll put down my heavier feedings, where I'll end up probably at about 3 pounds of N for the entire year, and I'll get the rest of that pound and a half down between now and October. So it doesn't take a whole lot to really get it going. Those cultivars are going to green up quick. They're going to green up good. They're going to grow good. They're going to grow dense, and they're going to fill in a lot in the spring. So you're not going to need to push it a whole lot, but just give it some food. Once it wakes up and it really starts growing, maybe right after your first cut, after you get your first cut on it in the spring, give it a quarter pound, half pound of N, and let it and sit back and enjoy, because you're gonna get your spring flush anyway. So it's gonna take off when the temperatures warm up. It's gonna take off and start filling in and getting dense and thick on its own. So you don't need to push it a whole lot in the spring. Um, M Branch, what's going on, man? Appreciate you chiming in. You typically always hop in here on my live streams. Appreciate you. Dethatching the lawn before overseeding. I do recommend doing that. Especially, yeah, I do. So that is a easy way. We call it dethatching. It's really a power raking. I've kind of succumbed to calling it dethatching, but it's really a power rake. So you're just removing that debris that's on the top level of the surface, removing that debris out of the canopy of the lawn. I do recommend doing that. If you're doing an aeration, you can do one or the other. I honestly haven't aerated my lawn in almost 3 years now. Y'all have seen in the fall, only thing I've really been doing is running my little Sun Joe through my lawn, get that debris and stuff up out of there, clean it up, cut it down a little bit lower. This year I'm already at low how to cut, especially in the back. I'm about to start bringing the front down so I can get ready to start that process. Uh, but yeah, all I've been doing is running my little Sun Joe. I know it's not a commercial level piece of equipment, but for the average homeowner, that little Sun Joe is all you need when it comes to fall lawn renovations and fall repair. That little Sun Joe is, and I've had it since I've got into. I've probably had mine probably 4 or 5 years now. And you plug that little jug. I mean, you don't use it that often. I mean, you use it once a year, maybe twice a year. And I've used it on like some client renovations and stuff too. Um, but it just run that thing through there, open up the canopy, and one of the benefits is like you can really see the canopy like open up, like it's got space in between the leaf blades, and then you can see down to the soil. So when you come behind it with your seed and your fertilizer, all of that stuff can now fall directly to the soil. You can get good seed to soil contact, and you get good establishment and good germination, good establishment. What that really helps with it is the establishment portion of it, because that tap root, that same root that comes out, that initial root can touch and go directly into the soil and doesn't have to fight through all of that extra debris to get down to the soil. So I really think that's really all the average homeowner has to do, because most home lawns don't get the amount of traffic that you really need to do aeration every year. So you could smooth run that little Sun Joe through it, come behind it, seed it, run the Sun Joe through it, clean up the debris, seed it, fertilize it, and turn the sprinklers on and be done in a day. It would be done in a day. Sit back with a cold beverage and watch the sprinklers go from there. And I got a couple videos of that on the channel, so I'm pretty sure you already watched them. But yeah, you don't have to do both if you're doing an aeration. You don't have to do both. You can pick one. But as I said, I think doing a power rake on them and being done is sufficient. Oh, I'm pretty sure you're talking about the. I'm pretty sure this one is about the uh, triple threat. Triple threat. Yeah. Like I said, I haven't seen it in person. I know the Mountain View seed. They do have a thinner leaf blade. That turf type tall fescue has a thinner, as and when I say thinner, I'm talking width wise, leaf blade than most of your fescues. That Mountain View seed tall fescue looks more in appearance like a KBG than it does your standard uh, fescue. So that could be possible, Janelle. Like I said, I haven't seen the triple threat in person. I've heard good things about it. I've seen the yards that's got it in it. It looks good. Doom, doom, doom. So Lewis, I see you're talking mesotrione. So if you're spraying meso for weeds, you can spray that day of seed. You can spray meso over your seed. I would say whatever you're spraying meso for, I'm not a fan of it. The only time I use it is either in combination with a stronger herbicide or if I'm doing bare ground seeding. I would recommend you start earlier because you're probably going to have to make a second application to get rid of whatever weeds you're trying to get rid of, especially if you're trying to go after crabgrass with meso. Meso is typically a two application type product to even get any kind of damage or kill on the product. I'm not a fan of meso. There are way better herbicides out there that cleans up things a lot better. So keep mentioning holy water. Water. What's the name of the product? So holy water is what we call glyphosate. So the we working team, you'll hear me say it. You'll hear Polo say it. You also hear Turf say it. Um, the internets and the YouTubes are not a fan of saying glyphosate, so we started saying holy water instead. So a lot of trolls and a lot of the environmentalists and all of that, they start coming out of the woodworks when you say Roundup or you say glyphosate or whatever. Like so, we renamed it to we renamed it to holy water. So if you ever hear me say holy water, that's what it is. It's a non-selective herbicide, and we sometimes say that we'll say non-selective herbicide, meaning it kills whatever it touches. Uh, no, man, I appreciate that. Best long guy on the internet, man. I appreciate that. I do. I'm glad the videos and chats are helpful for you. I just try to be relatable as possible and try to share the information that I've got. I'm continuing to learn, continuing to uh, make mistakes, continuing to learn from my mistakes and things like that. My lawn isn't perfect. I'm gonna get into it and I'm gonna show y'all what I've got going on. Like I said, my lawn isn't perfect. Uh, I have my struggles like everybody else. It just is what it is. So yeah, man, I'm glad it's helpful. Just try to establish the connections that I can with a lot of these companies to try to bring like products that I believe in and products that I feel are value added to my community. So you don't see me promote a whole lot of stuff. You don't see me promoting a lot of different products and a lot of stuff. And the stuff that you do see me talking about is the things that I believe in and the things that I support and the things that I actually use. So I'm not a fan of just getting a product just to promote it, just to show it to you. That's kind of not my style of YouTuber, lawn tuber type scenario. So if you see me promoting a product or displaying a product, it's because for one, I've used it for some time, and that's kind of the way that I roll with the companies that I work with is, hey, I'm gonna I'm gonna take some time with this. Like I'm gonna formulate my opinion. I'm not gonna use it once and say, all right, here's your video. This is the best thing since sliced bread. That's that's not how I roll. And I've lost or not been able to work with some companies uh, because of that position. But that's we weren't a good fit then. If that's the way that relationship was gonna go. So I appreciate it, man. I just try to be me. And try to help everybody out and answer the questions that I can. And when I don't know, I'll let you know. I was like, hey man, I don't know about that, or I've never experienced that. Just like the we were talking about the triple threat. Like I've never seen it in person. Like so I've only seen pictures and videos of it. You know, it looks good like from that standpoint, but I've never seen it in person. And I'll be 100% honest with people when I either don't know something or I haven't experienced it. I feel like you get yourself in trouble when you try to talk about stuff that you're not familiar with. So yeah, that's it. Um, yeah, I see you, Jay. Jay in there taking care of a couple of questions that came in. I appreciate that. No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Jay, on the Mountain View scene, appreciate you for going out and supporting Pete. I like Pete. Pete's a good dude. Real good dude there. He's got a good business and stuff going down there for him. I don't mind supporting him. Glad you decided to support him also. I'm glad he moved to the Mountain View Seed cultivars. So yeah, I'm glad for I'm glad for him to do that. No, I typically have seed left over from year over year. And I'll go out with that seed in the spring, or I'll go out with that seed again in the fall and use up that bag of seed and have no issues with germination. Just make sure you keep it. Hopefully you've kept it in like a dry area, and not getting a lot of moisture to it. Moisture is the worst thing that can get to it, that can damage some of your or inhibit your germination. But outside of that, if you've kept it in the bag, kept it in a dry area, a year's time isn't really gonna affect it. You'll be just fine. Um, all right, Elder Gilbert. What's the how to cut on? Right now, it is about 3 inches. We had it much lower before. It's probably three, maybe three and a half right now. It was lower. It was right around 2 inches before, but then here recently they've started getting all of that rain, and we didn't put any PGR or regulate it at all, and the height of cut got away from him. Like so, he ended up having to raise his height of cut to try not to cut all the color out of it. That's where it's probably at about three and a. It's probably three and a quarter, three and a half. To be honest with you, it's probably where it's at. I'm trying to think because I had stuck my hand down in it to kind of gauge where it's at. It's probably three and a quarter, three and a quarter, three and a half is where it's at right now. Um, I'd prefer for it to be lower, to be honest with you. I would definitely want it to be lower. Bermuda wants to be lower, but it still looks good. Like, I mean, it looks good at that height of cut. Um, my nieces are happy with it. They're just like, man, it feels like I'm out here on a pillow. It feels like I'm walking on a pillow. Um, my dad's sister stopped by the house and was like, "Man, this yard looks so good. It looks fake. Like it looks fake. Like it doesn't look real, because it's just uniform and it looks good. Like it really does. My pops is happy with it. I'm happy with it, and I'm happy with it, especially with the amount of inputs that we've had to put into it this year. Of course, we put a lot into it as far as the full renovation last year, but this year has been three total applications, well, four total applications all year. Two applications of fertilizer, two applications of pre-emergent, and that has been it. That's all that's been done to it other than cut it. So I'll probably be down there again here in a couple of weeks, and we'll get the fall pre-emergent down to kind of help with these winter weeds that are about to happen. We had a little bit of trouble with that coming out of the summer, out of the winter this year, because the lawn was so new, we weren't able to get a fall pre-emergent on it. So this year is well established, well ready to go. It's going to get its full rate of fall. Even this year, it got its full rate of um, pre-emergent down there. We'll go ahead and get that fall pre-emergent on it. Get these winter weeds and stuff, prevent it, and it should be pretty clean coming out of winter next spring. We'll get it scalped down, get it back down to a lower height of cut, and hopefully we'll be doing some sand leveling. I've been talking to my pops. I've been talking to some people that hopefully can help us out, and get it leveled out so we can get a better quality of cut on it. That's what I really want to do. So another reason why we've kept the financial inputs down this year, because we spent a lot on it last year. I mean, we spent some money on it last year, so we're recouping and recovering a little bit this year. Now next year we got to go buy some sand. Like that's sand isn't that expensive, but doing in the area that size is gonna cost. It's gonna be a good amount of sand to get that area where it needs to be or where I want it to be. So that's the plan. That's the plan for that one. I have mushroom. Nope. And branch you nothing to do with mushrooms. It's just a sign of moisture. High moisture, organic matter. Um, that's it. You just cut it. Just keep cutting. Once things dry out some and you start getting rid of some of that moisture, those mushrooms will stop popping up and they'll go away. You'll be fine. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Lewis. I appreciate that. Yep. Let's see. Let's see. I like the triple threat, but I feel like the cultivars are outdated. That's valid. That's valid. Like I said, I've never seen it, but I think there's a lot of good seed blends out there that are in that same category, and Pete seed was in that same category, which is why I said I was glad that he switched to the Mountain View seed blend with all the Mountain View seed cultivars because for the price for the price that was out there, you could go get those better cultivars for the price of like the Black Beauty and the Jonathan Green Black Beauty and like some of the other seed blends out there. Like for they're asking premium price without having the premium cultivars in it. Like that's something I have a issue with. I don't mind paying premium price if I'm getting premium product. If I'm not getting premium product, then I look on the NTEP trials and the cultivars that you're providing me in that blend for that premium price are either mid range or below or at the bottom, and there's all these other cultivars that are way up higher and perform better that I can go get for the same price. Why would I continue to buy older cultivars, less performance cultivars, when I can go get the premium stuff for the same price? So yeah. Um, Poor Annual and Trio. Um, the cost of velocity is crazy. Yeah, it is. So it depends on if you're doing a overseeding or if you're seeding in the fall. If you're seeding this fall, your options are going to be limited to ethofumicate. Ethofumicate, couple of applications of that after you've got your seeding and everything done. Uh, you can go down with a couple of applications of, I think you probably can get 2 applications in by the time your seed gets up and is able to withstand it. I think you can spray. Check on that. You might can spray ethofumicate at the time of seeding, but I mean, let your seed come up and let everything get going. Get a cut or two on it, and then start your applications of ethofumicate. Um, Outside of that, if you're not seeding this fall, you can go down with prodiamine. So you can go down with prodiamine pre-emergent, and that will help your with the germination of Poa annua. So Poa annua typically starts germinating around that September time frame. So which is why, like, warm season lawns, like I was just saying about my pops, we're gonna get ready to put down our winter pre-emergent, because we don't need to seed a warm season lawn, so we can go down with a pre-emergent to help with the winter weeds, i.e., with the big one being Poa annua. So you can go ahead and start putting down that in the fall. So the best thing is, if you're seeding, ethofumicate. If you're not going to seed, go down with your prodiamine pre-emergent. Um, I appreciate that. Not much of a type or a commenter, but I want to let you know I appreciate the knowledge you share. I've learned a lot. I appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate that. Like I said, I just try to bring the information that I've got, and just share it with the people. Um, the information's out there, but a lot of the information that people are uh, promoting or putting out there is all product driven. I like to try to give you a foundation of why things are what they are, and having some data behind, hey, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, or this is why I recommend doing XYZ. Another good channel for that data and those whys is the YouTube channel Turfgrass Epistemology, Dr. Travis Shaddix. He does a couple of different shows, live streams every week. So over on his channel, he goes through a lot of the research papers and a lot of the data and stuff of why things are what they are from a data driven, y'all have heard me say that, data driven perspective. And a lot of the things that are said on YouTube, and I'll say it, I've been guilty of it at the beginning of my YouTube career also. But I think we all have the responsibility of doing better and continuing to learn and continuing to, if we're going to put out content and we're going to put out information, we should continue to learn the practices that are true and those that have been proven and have evidence behind what we're saying in our content. And a lot of the stuff that I even said at the beginning of my early YouTube career wasn't factual. Like, and there's not evidence to support some of those claims. And a lot of the stuff that's product driven and a lot of the things that people are saying that these products do, there's no evidence to show that that's true. Like none. There's typically evidence to show that it does nothing. So just be careful on your content. Be careful on just reevaluate, um, which is one of the things that I promote is why are you doing the things that you're doing? If you can tell me why and you can have a solid evidence data based reason of why you're putting down X product or why you're doing X practice, okay, understood. If you can find that that helps back it up, but if not, are you doing it just to feel good? And I think there's a lot of feel good products out there. So I've really this year I've over the course of a couple of years, like I don't apply that many products. Like most of the products that I'm applying are my NPK, um, my NPK, some liquid micronutrients for mainly for some color here and there, and my fungicides, and I don't really hardly do any weed control anymore at this point. So those are really my main products that I'm applying. And I heard somebody comment on one of my videos and was like, "Man, his guy's got got two shells full of chemicals." Well, most of those are liquid fertilizers. Most of those jugs are liquid fertilizers, and I've got some herbicides in there that I used to use, and I used to need to use them when I was battling the weeds to get my lawn under control. But right now, I really haven't bought herbicides like since I bought those original jugs. Like a lot of those original products with the herbicides are like 2 years old, like 2, 3 years, like 3 years old. Which is good. It just goes to show like when you put the proper practices in place, cultural practices, those four things: proper watering, proper nutrition, proper mowing, and then your pesticide, herbicide um, controls in place, like the lawn will continue to get better and you can back down off of your inputs. It may take more at the beginning to get things under control and to get them into shape, but I didn't put down a pre-emergent this year, and I have two pieces of crabgrass that's in my lawn right now. My entire 7,000 square foot, I have two pieces of crabgrass, which I can go out there, pull it up, and be done, and that's it. And that's it. Um, so it takes a little bit of effort and some product at the beginning, but just make sure you're using like products that are actually going to give you some results and are actually going to show you some benefit to it. Um, uh, Fall PM and spring PM are the same. Yeah, all I use is prodiamine. Warm season. Well, even on cool season, because you're going after the same reasoning. It's just the timing. So the reason that you put down spring pre-emergent is to prevent a lot of your spring and summer weeds. But then there's a second phase of weeds that germinate, which are your poa annuas and your winter weeds that germinate around this Septemberish time frame. Which, if you're seeding a cool season lawn, a lot of times you don't have the benefit of being able to do that because it inhibits the establishment of your seed. But in warm season lawns, once it's established, you don't need to seed it again. There's no other seeding. It's just there. So it regenerates on its own. So you're able to put down a spring and a fall pre-emergent to prevent your spring, summer weeds. And then you can also apply your next round in the fall to prevent your fall and winter weeds. So that's another benefit to warm season lawns is you can get both of those those applications down to get the lawns and things cleaned up and keep them pretty clean and weed free. So yeah, that's and I yes, I will use the same pre-emergent for both the spring and the fall. You could rotate between uh, like Prodiamine and Dithiapir. There's some other ones out there also. Those are the two main ones, but you don't have to. Like there's not a whole lot of it's not a lot of benefit. There are some benefits, but there's not a lot of benefits to one over the other. There are certain scenarios where one is better than the other, but Prodiamine has such a good longevity to it that it's beneficial to use that, and then you really don't have to go. And Prodiamine is cheap, and you don't have to go buy a second product, so you can use the same one. Um, finally getting the finally getting the renovated. Um, appreciate that, Jay. Appreciate that. There's nothing like growing new seed and getting to do a renovation and seeing it go from a lawn that wasn't desirable to you to crispy to maybe you're gonna aerate it, maybe it's gonna be bare dirt, maybe you'll end up at bare dirt, and then seeing those new seedlings come up and then getting that first cut and then like almost towards the end of the fall or like going into winter when it's like cooking and it's filled in and it's nice and you getting that deep dark green and you getting those cool fall cuts in there, and then wait till the spring when you get those good spring cuts in there when it really fills in and really starts thriving. I'm excited for, even though it hurt, I'm excited to grow some new seed in the test plot. I'm excited to do that. There's just something about seeing new seed come up. I haven't done a full renovation even for my clients or anything in a while. I've done like a lot of overseedings, but I haven't had like a full renovation job in a while. So being able to see a full area transform, like I said on my Instagram, I like growing things. I like growing grass. I like growing plants. I like growing. And when you transform a lawn, you will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. You got your first house, probably your first lawn, uh, and now you can make it the lawn that you want. And go for it. Go for it. Let me know if you got any questions. Reach out to me, comment on the videos, shoot me a DM. I don't know if you're on Instagram or not. Shoot me a DM on Instagram if you got any questions or anything. So, uh, yeah, man, just enjoy it. It's some work. It's some work, but it's well worth it. Full renovations are work, but they are well worth it in the end. 100%. All right. So, um, if y'all don't have any more questions, let me know if you got any more questions. I'm going to go through this last topic here. And then I guess we're going to get ready to get out of here. I was able to get caught up in the chat. Let me know if you got any questions, pop them in there. I'm going to do this real quick. And then I think we'll go ahead and get up out of here. What was I about to do? I was about to do this. So let's talk about the current status of my lawn and kind of where we're at right now. And boom, this is what we're looking like right now. Let me go ahead and why is that not showing this full screen? All right, I need to do that. Boom. So this is where we are currently at in my lawn right now. So main stage of the lawn looking pretty good. I can't complain about this section of the lawn at all, which is like my main section of it. Looking pretty good. Another little close up. This was after my cut yesterday, I believe. So looking good on that front. Let me do. I'm just trying to get rid of that real quick. And here we go. So yeah, looking at it, this is kind of what we're looking like. Not too bad. Not too bad on the main stage. But as I tell y'all, this was the area that I was just showing you, which was all of this, which was the majority of it. My lawn is not perfect. So I told y'all a little while ago, I had two areas that I was starting to see some disease pressure in because I overwatered it. Um, it was all on me. These are my full sun areas. Typically, like the whole yard, like it gets a little more sun in this area. All of the lawn gets some sun, but I do have a shade line that's like right about here. So this is a zone of irrigation, and with me having this lower height of cut, I was like, I need to put some more water on it. Like I need additional water in these areas. So this is a zone of irrigation where I added some additional water where I probably should not have. And then right after I did the additional watering, we started to get a lot more rain. Like, so we got a couple days of rain where the lawn just stayed wet for probably 4 or 5 days and didn't dry out. I saw this coming and I tried to get a fungicide down as quickly as I could. Um, and I knew there was going to be some amount of damage. So that's this area here. This is probably my worst area that I've got right here. And it happens in this area every year. I normally get it worse in here. I get it right here just about every year. You can go back in my other videos from last year, the same area here. And then I'm typically fine through here, but I also tend to get a little bit right there. Um, this is currently what it's looking like. Not terrible, but not great either. It's again, I should not have added the additional water. I should have let it tough it out like I normally do. And I normally keep my lawn on the dry side for this reason because you never know when you're going to get your rain and you never know how much you're going to get. And it always gets tough uh, trying to navigate that portion of it. So we're not in control of our water. When the man upstairs sends it, like is what we get. So I normally try to keep my lawn on the dry side in preparation for when we get rain. It will get what it needs. So um, that's that area. And like I said, overall, the yard's not looking bad. The yard's not looking bad. It's got its scars. It's got its scars and everything, but it's not looking too bad. Not looking too bad at all. We'll get ready to get these areas and stuff fixed up in there. And then we've got what I showed y'all earlier, the OG test plot, which is a lot more crispy than this right now. It's a lot more it's a lot more crispy at this point. So then we've got my front yard, which is being the champ that it always is. Like my front yard is just it's a champ, man. It has never been fully renovated. Uh it started off a whole bunch of weeds and that was it. Like it's got a mixture of some good Mountain View seed cultivars in it. It's got a little bit of Pete's original GCI seed in it, but it's got a lot of. I only put Pete seed down one time, and then I switched to the Mountain View seed cultivars. So it's got the Mountain View seed cultivars are in there, mixed with a little bit of KBG in there, and then all the old stuff that was already still left in there from my previous, from the previous owner or previous lawn that was there. So, like I said, it's never been fully renovated, but it has its ups and downs. But for the most part, like it bounces back and is a champ. So yeah, I can't complain about that at all. I'll take it. And even with the density, I thought I had another close up picture. Um, Even with this density here, I did not overseed my front lawn last year. I no overseed at all to get it to where it's at, and I don't plan on overseeding it again this year. Uh, there is a point to where you can stop your overseeding. You don't have to continue to overseed year after year after year after year. Once you get it to a density, and right now this is almost thicker than what I want it to be. So when the fall comes, I'll take the height of cut down, which I'm probably going to cut it again tomorrow and drop the deck a notch and start bringing the height of cut down on it. And then I'm gonna probably go into the fall at about 2 inches. I'm probably gonna hold it at 2 inches for the remainder of this season, and I may go 2 inches all next year. So two, probably two and a half. Right now it's at three, so I'll go ahead and get the height of cut down, start working it down, and then from there run the Sunjo through it, get it cleaned up, and that'll be it. Start watering and keep watering it and fertilize it, and that's gonna be it. Like there comes a point where you do not need to continue to throw more and more seed down if you're able to keep it established, keep it alive, keep it healthy throughout the season. So uh, that's that's the current state of my lawn. This is front yard. I showed you the test plot, showed you the backyard, what all of that is looking like. So uh, from that standpoint, that's mainly all I've got for this evening. Hope y'all have enjoyed um, the convo. Hope y'all have enjoyed the information. I'll jump over here and see if we got any additional comments or questions, and then I'll get ready to let y'all get up out of here. Enjoy your weekend. So let's see what other questions we got. Hey Grace, how's it going? Appreciate you joining. Um, that's okay if you late. I appreciate your presence anytime you come. Grace the channel. Pun intended. Grace. um, Rob, man, I appreciate that. We renovating. Let's do it. Let's do it. You got the cool blue. Okay, go with that cool blue. What else? I do feel like even with the lateral spread. So I've said this before, and even Mountain View Seed, if you look at their literature behind it, um, their lateral spread is, I call it aggressive tillering. So it just means that it puts a single plant puts off more grass blades, and it just tends to take up more space and looks like it's spreading. It does fill in, like it will fill in areas. Like I killed off areas of poetry in the spring. I grew grass pots to actually dig those areas up and put them in there and recut the dead stuff out where the tree was. I never did that. And my front yard has filled right back in those areas that I killed off in the spring. So to answer your question, do you feel like the KBG is needed? I do for that reason. Um, Even the lateral spread fescues aren't gonna spread and recover and repair the way that KBG does. That's why I feel that the KBG is necessary in a blend because it gives you that capability and it's going to spread quicker than those lateral spread fescues will. So I do think that KBG has its place in fescue blends, and I always put some KBG in my blends when I seed. So other unless I want a full fescue lawn, but I feel that I like the having that cultivar having those KBG cultivars in there. You can go 90-10 ratio or 85-15. I wouldn't go any higher than 85-15. 90 because you're going to end up with a lot of KBG at that point. So I would say 90-10 at max. 85-15 would be the ratio that I would go with. I would recommend. Grace, do I still use hybrids? We use hybrids on my pops lawn. We did use hybrids on my pops lawn. I used hybrids. I have not used hybrids this year. Um, Nothing against them. The one thing is they also their facility got hit by a tornado and like completely destroyed. They are rebuilding, so hybrids may be hard to find. I have nothing against them. I've been trying some different fertilizers this year, but we did go with hybrids on my dad's lawn. That's the results of my dad's lawn that I was showing earlier, and I've been posting about it. And you can also go back, and I was showing it earlier in this live stream. That's all hybrids. That's the only thing we've applied to my dad's lawn this year. This year, I have not used hybrids on my lawn. Um, how would you compare? I think I answered that one just now, John. Now, let me know if you got any other questions, but I think I answered that one. Um, Man, took out 90% of my backyard. Been there, done that, brother. Been there, done that. I I feel your pain. I feel your pain because I know exactly how it feels, and I've been there. So I would recommend now you know you have the potential for Pythium to be there. I recommend you applying phosphites as a preventative measure. Phosphites are very good at they're very, I'll say, very effective at prevention of Pythium before it exists. Phosphites will not help you once you get it, but it is a very good preventative measure to take. So I would also say get you some mefenoxam on hand so that you can try to start getting down a little bit of preventative if those situations or if those conditions do arise. So I would say regular applications throughout the entire year, the spring and summer. I run phosphites year round. So I back down off of the frequency in the times where the conditions aren't there, but I tend to run phosphites year round in my lawn. So I think it's a fairly inexpensive preventative measure to take that is quite effective at being able to do that. So that's what I would recommend. I'm sorry to hear that, man, because I've been there and I know how it feels. Azoxy does not help with Pythium, not at all. Mefenoxam is your go-to for Pythium. Mefenoxam is it. Trade name is Subdue Max. So I would say that is your go-to to take care of that. Pythium doesn't do anything, or Azoxy doesn't do anything. Propiconazole does not do anything. And I think that's where a lot of people get in trouble when they realize that they've got disease and it ends up being Pythium, and everybody reaches for the azoxy and the propiconazole, and they do nothing for pythium. Like, you can apply it as much as you want to, and that pythium is going to keep growing, and it's going to keep spreading, and it's going to keep taking out grass because it doesn't do anything for it. So got to get away from, you got to identify the right fungicide to address your issue. So there you go. I think I had one more question. I know I dropped down to that one. Uh, Topsoil after aerating or before. Depends on why you're using topsoil. Um, if you have leveling work to do, yes, do your leveling work uh, ahead. I'm not sure you can aerate and then do your leveling work. Um, Depends on what you've got going of why you're using topsoil. Um, so if you were doing all of your leveling stuff, you may not even need to aerate. If you've got that much leveling work to do, you can just leave that loose topsoil. Once you get it leveled and you've taken care of that, you can just come through and just kind of loosen up that top layer of soil and just seed down into it. So not sure. It need a little bit more background on what that situation looks like, but those are kind of what I read into that. Um, put it down before I seed. I recommend addressing. Yes, I recommend you addressing the uh, the disease. So mefenoxam to address the disease before you seed. Yes. Um, and it is also mefenoxam is also safe for new seedlings. So that is one of the products to keep on hand when you're doing seeding jobs, because if you get pythium, you need to be on it and on it fast, because it will wipe out those new little seedlings in a heartbeat. So it is safe for putting down with new seedlings up, but I would say address the disease first. Remove those conditions. Try to get it to dry out. I'm pretty sure you've got a lot of moisture. Get that dead grass and stuff up out of there. Get an application down. Get the disease under control before you seed. Yes. Okay. I think that's currently the last question there. So um, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. We've been on here for a good little bit. Hope everybody is. It's still summertime though. It ain't quite fall yet, but it's on the way. So we're still in summer. Continue to enjoy your summer. Kids are starting to go back to school, so you know it's coming. It's starting to come to an end. But we still in summer. Keep enjoying it. The 2024 lawn season itself, though, is starting to come down to an end. It's time for you to start that 2025 lawn, and it starts this fall. It does not start next spring. It starts this fall. So as I was telling everybody earlier, hold tight on buying your seed. Give me 2 weeks. Everybody holding me to 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. I should have some information on you if you are local to the Maryland area on seeding options. So also, if you're in the Maryland area, I am offering, I got a couple slots left for some aeration and seeding. I do have a range of where I travel. So reach out to me, let me know, and we can kind of work those details out. If you are in need of those aeration and seeding and fertilization services this fall, so let me know. Other than that, keep grinding. We're almost there. We're almost back into that cool season prime time when we get to the fall, but we're not quite there yet. Hope y'all are enjoying it. Um, One more thing that I was going to say, and I think I just forgot it. It came up and I wanted to mention it. But it is what it is. Y'all have a good one. Be blessed. Be safe. Continue to enjoy your fall. Start getting prepped. Start getting prepped. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you are planning to spray out weed control and get weeds taken out before you do your overseeding, you should probably be doing that now. You should probably be doing that at this, depending on which herbicide you're going down with, you should be getting that down. So, other than that, hey, y'all know, as I always say, just know we work.